sports all plays. All sports all plays. All sports all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
That'd be absolutely devastating.
This is Joey Owens' show. They've been trying to get me on this podcast forever, and this is the worst damn podcast I've ever been on. So you all can kiss my ass while I win this match.
All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to G.W.R. Gonzo'S Wrestling Room. Monday, July 24th, 2023.
What day it is?
Oof. Damn, hot sauce tried to come back up.
That ain't good.
No, it isn't. Sucks coming out. It sucks coming up that way.
It about killed me one time.
But now we got a lot to talk about. I'm Chris Gonzo'S, joined by Tony Gonzo'S, and also joined by Marcus Fine, as always. How's it going, guys?
Good.
That'll kind of let you get going.
Okay.
And so I can finish sharing this stuff out. We already got a few people in the comments.
Cool. Well, I think we'll do a little independent first, real quick. I don't think we've really done a show since the J County. That Monday we was busy and everything. So just a big shout out to that J County show, Retro Mania. I thought it was a fantastic show. It might be the show of the year. It's going to be tough to beat, but very, very good show. Outstanding. Al Snow was outstanding. It was just a really good show. Chris, what do you think of the show?
What show?
Where are you at? Retromania at J County. Marcus, me and you will just do the show. I don't know why.
Yeah, I guess so. He's worried about hot sauce, I guess.
Yeah.
Went up a little further.
No, I did catch what show you were talking about.
Okay, all right.
Oh, man, I was going through comments, but no,
okay.
I was actually reading this comment by Billy here that had me distracted. But anyway, no, I thought Retromania was real good. Al Snow put on the show. I thought Powers of Pain was great as well. But a match that really stood out to me on that show was Brian Pillman Jr. and AJ Vest.
Yes,
which was that was my first time seeing AJ Vest. I'd seen Pillman before, but I thought they put on a real good match. And then, of course, the main event, four-way. I thought them guys really put on the show as well.
The three-way tag team too. I mean, it was just a great show. Marcus, what do you think of the show?
Oh yeah, fantastic. The ladies did very well. Ari and Rachel put on a heck of a show. I mean, I don't have a complaint about Fair Fight at all.
Oh, yeah, it was really good.
Powers of Pain and Vinny. I mean, Vinny couldn't stop smiling.
Yeah, it was hard for Vinny to be a bad guy that day because he's a classic bad guy. But when you're out there smiling from ear to ear, it's kind of hard to be a bad guy.
You know, and then when Al Snow ran literally from the ring all the way out in the far ends field to get his head and bring it back, and we're all waiting on him. And
like Chris said, we had 5-year-olds to 70-year-olds yelling head. What do you want? Head. So it was crazy.
It was fantastic.
Yes. Okay, Marcus, I'll let you go ahead and talk about the Friday show that you was at, and then we'll, if you want to, go ahead and then do your Sunday show, and then we'll come back to the Fair Fight show.
I didn't write down anything from Saturday because I figured with the three of us we could pull that off together. So, all right, Friday night I was at the Dub as usual. Not a bad show. They're setting up for next week's. This Friday coming up is their main show of the month. So let's see. I wrote these all down differently. Let's see. Okay, well, Dex Royal come out and issued an open challenge for his Outlaw Championship, and Tajon Cash came out, and that basically was a squash. The kid didn't have a chance. The Buck Sexton defeated Christian Cash with help of Jesse Winchester. I think they're going to bring Prestigious Worldwide. That's where they're leading to it. Prestigious Worldwide is going to be at the dub.
Cool.
And then Scorpion defeated Scarecrow. And Itch defeated Brother Blaze with help from TJ. Then TJ defeated Split Rail with help from Itch. And Scorpion and Split Rail split. So they're probably going to have a feud there. And then the main event, outstanding main event, because most of this main event didn't even. The only thing that happened I don't think they were hardly in the ring, because it was a false count anywhere. Damon Real and Hodari defeated Jake Elliott and Jackson Morgan. They were everywhere, and in fact busted the glass out of the door at the front of the dub. So I heard glass, and I thought the display case had gotten hit, and I thought, you guys are dead.
Yeah, they would have been.
But no, they busted the glass out the front door, and Joey's laughing. I said, hey, you've been in here, 13, 14 years, and you finally busted the glass out the front door. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right.
One thing real quick I noticed about that show is definitely seeing some different matchups, which is cool.
Yeah, you know that where they got that spotlight, the stairs up next to the bathroom?
Yes.
Damon walked up there and jumped off.
Man.
So, yeah, they were hardly ever in the ring. It was a mess. They were everywhere. What's up, David? All right. Sunday. Went to Greenfield. Chris. Good to see you Saturday, Chris.
Yes.
Sunday went to Greenfield for FEW. I believe it actually was my first FEW show. If I've been the one, it's been a long time. And then I got a story, and hopefully the guys from FEW are on here, because I told them I was going to. You got to hear this story. But first, I'll go through these match results. G.W.R first started out against Scarecrow, and then that match didn't even start because Rampage Radisson and his partner Lennox Leon come out and attacked him. So then G.W.R challenged somebody else, and it was one man crew. One man crew is the guy we seen at
Fair Fight.
Yeah, I was reading the comment. Fair Fight as the one that they called Bam Bam. Very nice fellow. Very nice fellow. I told him who he was. I said, well, you was at Fair Fight. I says, I was on commentary. He says, oh, you're the guys that called me Bam Bam. I said, yeah, that was us. He was good with it, so. Well, there's a lot of people in here tonight. Friends of G.W.R. Okay, so one-man crew defeated G.W.R. And then G.W.R. come out a little bit later, and he says, I want somebody that's actually on the card. And Bo Jr. come out, which I didn't even know he was there. It was fantastic because he come up to me and gave me a hug and was happy to see me, and as I was him. And he got in the ring, Coco butted the guy. Depends on what version you want to use, and pinned him. So G.W.R. didn't have a very good day yesterday. And then let's see where we're at. Thunder Kitty defeated Freya the Slayer. Are you familiar with her? She's
Yes.
from LBW. She's tall. I bet she's 6'5", at least.
Yep.
But Thunder Kitty defeated her for the number one contender for the ladies' title. Okay, Luke Savage defeated Slim Trimmins and Dalton Love to become the new first ever FEW Mid-Continental title holder. The main event was Mitchell Taylor. He defeated Max Sterling for the number one contender for the FEW heavyweight title. Mitchell Taylor's rant this time was, why are you calling it Greenfield? It ought to be called Brownfield because of all the brown sludge every one of you have on your teeth. That's where he went with it. So it was kind of mild compared to some stuff he said in the past.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Then the match and the story. Rampage Radisson and Lennox Leone, they're the modern day beasts and are the FEW Tag Team Champions. They took on, to start with, Dylan Bostic and Cody Nunn. And Rampage put his foot in the middle of Cody's chest and held onto his arms and dropped back. Cody started screaming bloody murder and he broke a rib. So they came and got him out of the ring, and the next thing you know, Scarecrow comes out. So then Rampage and Lennox Leone defeated Dylan Bostic and Scarecrow, but while this match is still in progress, an ambulance pulls up and a fire truck pulls up. Someone called 911. Well, to go a little side story, if Cody Nunn had actually broke a rib, the two guys that came out to get him would have done more damage than that rib would have. Yeah. Because the way they grabbed him and drug him out of there, the broken rib wouldn't have been his problem. It'd been a punctured lung or a punctured liver or something. But anyhow, so yeah, the ambulance and the fire truck wanting to know, we got a 911 call. Where's the little guy that got his ribs busted? And he comes walking out. He says, I'm right here. I'm a pro wrestler. There's nothing wrong with me. So the fire truck left, but the ambulance parked, and they watched the rest of the show. So, but yeah, we're all out there laughing because Kelly says, I think he really got hurt. I says, how can he? His wife's like right over there. It's like
he did a real good job of selling in.
Yeah, so, that's what we were all talking after the end of the show. We all powwowed while they were tearing the ring down and says, we all agreed that you sold so well that someone called 911, and they might know now, but as of last night, they don't know if it was the neighbor that had the deck that could see into the back of the thing, or Casey's is next to it. They didn't know, or if somebody there at the actual show called it. But
how was the crowd?
30 to 50. It wasn't bad. It rained on us for a little bit. The first match was rain, but it was just sprinkles, nothing major downpour like we were really all worried about.
Yeah,
you can hear the thunder in the background, and it rained, but it didn't stop it. It was a good show. I'll give it it was a good show.
Okay, well, let's move on to the big show that we was all at Saturday, Fair Fight. Marcus, I'll let you go first.
Well, let me tell you. Let me go back to let me look at it.
Any observations you want to tell? You was in the front row.
Well, you've seen that we got smacked into by the guardrail.
Yep.
Because they couldn't control those guys at about Royal, no matter how hard they tried. I got a piece of Charlie Cruel's Pop-Tart thrown at me, too. But I thought it was fantastic. Start to finish. I was laughing that they couldn't figure the ladder out.
Yeah.
But
and you know what? Watching Fair Fight 1, they used that ladder in Fair Fight 1, too.
Yeah, they said that.
It was the same. Yeah, it was the same ladder, but they had another ladder, too. But they did have that in the middle of the ring. They started off with Fair Fight 1 with that ladder in the ring already set up.
So, Jesse, what do you want me to tell you? I don't want to run your guys' into this, too.
No, I just figured we'd have a discussion about it, what we thought, and what we liked, if we had a favorite match. I thought it was a great show also. Yeah,
I did, too. I wasn't sure at first what Buck was doing when he was down. I was like you because I watched commentary that you had said about, well, what's he looking for? And then all of a sudden I see him pulling, says he's bearing that wood. He's going to drop him on that wood.
Yeah.
So, and then the Dylan Cole, I kind of figured where that was going. But with all that screaming Dylan's doing now, it's kind of humorous. So.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I thought the show was really good. Like I told you off air, I went back and watched Fair Fight 1 because I was trying to figure out which show I liked better. It was really difficult. I mean, they was trying to top it. They did a good job of staying right with it. I don't know if it was better than I agree with Buck on one thing. I think it was overall better wrestle card as far as wrestling goes. But it's close. But it was a great show, man, and probably had 450 people there probably watching.
David said 450 probably at the peak because people came and went, but he thinks at the peak most of the seats were full and people were standing. So 450 is what they peaked it out at, but it probably had 350 for the whole thing.
And I really enjoyed the Rumble. I thought that Rumble was really one of the better put together Rumbles I've seen. I really enjoyed it. Really liked it a lot. I keep going back and forth on what was my favorite match. And I don't know. I think my favorite match was the 3-way tag.
Yeah, that was good. I liked the dog collar.
It was good.
I liked the ladder. I'm trying to think. Let me think what was on there. I've seen so much stuff this weekend. It's never one of those situations.
I've only seen 40 matches this week. So.
I've seen quite a few. Jackson Morgan and Jared Kripke. The only thing I didn't like about that is I would have thought there would have been blood in a barroom brawl, and all that glass. Somebody should have bled. But I'm not complaining. The match was outstanding.
Yep, it was very good.
And Scorpion, the big surprise, defeating Carson Drake to become the number one. Well, not the number one. He is the Hoosier Pro. Sorry, guys. Warrior Pro heavyweight champion. What you think of that paint on his back? That Scorpion.
I thought that was cool. I think it took a long time to do, I would think.
You want a story with Scorpion?
Yeah.
Here's another tear the ring down. You hear a lot of funny. Scorpion's helping tear down the ring, and Christian Cash walks over to Mrs. Scorpion and says, "Hey, can I hold the belt?" Well, she says, "You got to ask Scorpion." He held out there. Well, he thought he asked him if he could hold the baby, which is his daughter. And Scorpion was willing to let Christian Cash hold his child, but was not willing to let Christian Cash hold his title. So we all got to laughing about that.
Yeah,
and
that's pretty good.
That, yesterday, we got there early. The Star newspaper was there. That's another story. But it was 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Bo Jr. shows up, comes up to a guy. He says, "Is this where the wrestling is?" And he says, "Are you with the wrestlers? Are you one of the wrestlers?" And we're all laughing. It's like, dude, you don't know who that is? It's like, says he's a 40-plus-year-old legend, dude. So we're all laughing and making fun of this kid. He's a good kid. His name's Joseph. He sold a lot of merch. I mean, it wasn't his merch. He was selling everybody else's because he kept yelling everybody come over there and buy merch, and they were doing it.
Good.
Just that he didn't know who Bo Jr. was, and we're all laughing. It's like, dude, 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. Hopefully, Warrior Pro does pretty good anyway on their attendance, but hopefully they'll gain some new fans from this show. They had a lot of people in there watching, and I think they will. It worked very well for WCWO and Comic-Con. I think it worked a fair show that Summit Pro did 3 or 4 weeks ago. I think it worked out for them. I think Warrior Pro will gain some new fans. And
no doubt.
I think they did a great job.
Chris, what do you think of the show? Those fans were into it too. They were loud the whole.
No, I thought it was a real good show. I really liked the tag team match a lot. I like the main event, but I'll tell you what, the Battle Royal stuck out to me a lot as well. I know a lot of times Battle Royals are kind of thrown together quick, and they don't really tell a story. But I thought that one told a pretty good story, and had a lot of action, had a lot of different components to it. So I enjoyed it.
Yep. Yeah, I see a comment on here, but David. Yeah, Kate Parrish retains the Women's Championship.
Zay Gates won the Battle Royal out of all those big guys in there. That was the surprise of the night.
Yes,
the Buck wanted to know what my number one surprise was, and Scorpion was, but having Zay Gates win that Battle Royal against all those big guys, that was my shock of the evening, actually.
And a shout out to Russian 922.5 for the beating that he took with all the chops. I think his poor chest is caved in. So
yeah, I heard he didn't need to wear a shirt the next time because that's that red now that he don't need the mask and the pants match his chest because he took a hell of a beating.
He took a beating, that's for sure. So if you push comes to shove, what was your favorite match? Mine was a tag team.
I would. Mine's close. I'd probably go with the tag team.
What do you think, Marcus?
I'll go with the dog collar.
It was very good too. And the other thing we need to talk about, the other surprise we had was the retirement of Jay Carter.
Mm-hmm.
That was a huge surprise. So he retired, and I did see a post that he posted. I think it was his post saying retirement tour 2023. So I don't know if that means he's going to wrestle maybe a couple more matches, or if that's completely it. I didn't know. I mean, I think he's definitely done it War Pro. I know he used to wrestle there at
Wrestling Theology. Yeah, I've seen
Wrestling Theology a lot. So he wrestled there a lot. So I don't know if maybe he might do one last one there. I didn't know what was going to happen there. I took it as that was his final match. So.
Oh, we've seen my New Era.
Yes, seen him at New Era also. Yes.
Well, we seen him at Summit one time too. I don't know. Was you guys there for that? It has to be because that's the day you give me the shirt.
Yep.
First time we actually met face to face.
Yeah, I thought Kate had a very good match. I thought she looked really good. Yeah, it was a really great show. They should be proud of it. They should. And they did real good with the storylines, and I'm excited to see where they go. Another surprise: Blake Money Wright back in World Pro Wrestling, and looks like he got a bone to pick with Buck. So we'll see what goes on from here. So a lot of interesting stories. Where does Scorpion go? What goes on with his tag team? He's now champion. There's a lot of other storylines.
Jesse Jesse. Who's he going to go with? Well, he's taking on Zay, right? That's who the Battle Royal takes on Zay at the anniversary show.
Yeah, supposed to. So some very interesting stuff going on in World Pro. I thought they did a great job. So, anything? You guys got anything else on that show?
I think I'm done for the weekend.
Okay. The next thing we talked about was. What did want to ask you about that? You mentioned real quick about that Star Press. I guess it was Star Press in Indianapolis. What was it all about?
I talked to Mr. Radisson yesterday. Skip Rampage. I've always known him as Skip, but Rampage Radisson was PM'd me yesterday. Said the Star newspaper was there and covered from setting up the ring to tearing down the ring, and that lady was there literally all day, covering pro wrestling and the inner parts of putting the show together, and they let her know that Kelly and I was coming to make sure to talk to us, and we're out. We get there and we're talking to Scarecrow, and she come over and interviewed us a little bit. So hopefully we make the cut.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
What kind of questions did she ask? If it's okay if I ask?
She's asking me basically my history. How long have you been doing this, and where'd you get your name? I said, well, the wrestlers give me that name. And Scarecrow was like right there beside us. He said, yeah. Says that's not self-proclaimed. He is the super fan, and he even said he's known me for 20 years. And I guess she talked to a lot of people in the back about us before she even come out to talk to us. And I thank everybody that put that together to make us part of that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So hopefully we make the cut because she was there taking a lot of pictures, talking to a lot of people. So. You don't know if you'll be in the paper or what she'll use, or
yeah, I would be willing to say I'd be almost willing to bet you'll make the cut, but
I hope so.
Never know. Well, I think we'll move on to a little bit of pro wrestling talk that happened the last week or so. We all had a little bit of homework that I give everybody.
One thing, they better make the cut before Walter.
Well,
if Walter makes the cut and they don't make the cut, there's something wrong.
I'll boycott. I'll boycott the paper. I don't get Indianapolis paper anyway, but I'll boycott Greenfield, Indianapolis. I'll boycott all of them. Oh, friend Walter.
Walter did outstanding yesterday.
Did he?
Yeah, he did.
I know he was talking you up.
Yeah,
he was definitely talking you up.
I haven't got seen Walter for a while. He don't go to the other shows that we go to anymore.
Well, there's some he's not allowed to.
That's true. Yeah. That's true.
Some he's banned. Okay, let's move on from that. The first thing I wanted to talk about was AEW match, Blood and Guts. It was a big cage match, hour-long cage match that they had.
They're saying probably 2 weeks. I'm sure the FEW website will let me know when it comes out, and we'll get a paper either way.
Yeah. Do you see what Billy Buzz wrote, Marcus?
Yes, I did. That was towards Billy Buzz.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll keep you in the loop there, Billy.
Yeah. Blood and Guts was a cage match, and I'm gonna let you go first if you did get to see it. There's a reason for that because I wanted to see what your thoughts were and see if your thoughts were maybe similar to mine, since we're both pretty old school.
Okay, I don't mean to be critical. So anybody that takes this, I don't watch AEW, and this is probably my first AEW match. And to tell you that somebody had filmed it, I'm thinking with their phone, and then put it on YouTube.
Okay.
Because you can hear them yakking and coughing in the background and making noises, and it froze up like they may have been on Dish Network or something. But I got Kelly, and Kelly watched it too. So there's Skip, Rampage.
Rampage.
Hey, Rampage.
Okay, again, don't take any offense to my page of notes. Very fast paced. Them guys didn't slow down from the time that bell rang until the end. There was no storytelling. They were jumping around, kicking, smacking. It was hard to keep track of all of it. They all had to get in sync to put all their moves together at the same time, like when they all suplex each other off the top rope, or everybody decided it was time to super kick each other. Or I'm thinking, okay, this is getting weird. Jon Moxley breaking the weapons out really early in the match. That's something you see near the end of the match, not during basically the beginning. He was the only one that really bled till the very end. Then what was it, Japanese guy? He was caked in blood at the end, but it's almost like Moxley destroys himself. Does more damage to himself than his opponents does. Spot after spot after spot after spot. I think we just went through that. No real story. I thought the cage seemed dangerous because they could fall off the ring apron and land down there between the cage and the ring apron. And normally those cages are right on the ring post, so you won't fall down in there. The bed of nails was stupid because they took some heavy hits on those bed of nails. Now, you tell me why his back wasn't pocked up and blood dripping everywhere. And Kelly's in here because Kelly watched it. Yeah, see the bed of nails. But then they get up and it's like, why isn't his back all messed up?
Yeah.
He didn't lay on it. He was power slammed on it. Why has he not got...
Yeah.
And then took a splash while he was on it as well.
And not one mark on him. Not one mark on his back. Come on.
Why was the cage like 6 stories tall, for one? I mean, that cage was huge.
Yes.
Well, and then why were they on top of it?
And why do people leave the cage? The guy's coming down to the ring, and he leaves the cage to go after a guy. I don't know.
It defeats the purpose of having a cage.
Well, I do know. Probably the first time I seen anybody leave the cage they didn't leave the cage. He wanted to start up the cage. Was Mick Foley, and they started up top. They didn't leave the cage. He started up there. That's
I
where
agree, Billy. It had to be rubber nails. There's no way in hell you'd take a move like that and not puncture something. Maybe your lungs or something.
I'll make a bed of nails. Let's test it out.
If the rubber like they had, I think I'd be okay with that. If they could take a splash and not even be a hole in them, I think I'd be okay.
But then they come up with a set of bolt cutters. Well, they've already left the ring once, so why do you need bolt cutters to cut the lock off to leave?
Yeah.
Any old school
if any old school people. Well, the other thing that was crazy. As soon as Moxley came into the ring, he came in with a fork, attacked people,
and a screwdriver,
and sticking them, and nobody bled. So what was listen to Bully Ray. Bully, so what was the point of that? He said, if you're going to attack somebody with a fork and screwdriver, they should be bleeding. And to call it blood and guts, there really wasn't that much blood.
No, and like they went off Moxley for a minute, And then they came right back to him, and all of a sudden now he is just pouring. It's like, okay, you had the knife yourself.
Oh,
Nobody touched you.
You're lucky they took the camera off of him and he just didn't sit in the corner and cut himself. He's done that before. He's done that before live on TV.
Yeah.
Dumped the box of or the bucket of glass, and then the guy up on top dumping all them tacks out of that from 6 stories in the air. I mean,
yes.
No, I was not. No, I didn't care for it. It made no sense.
No, it didn't make a lot of sense.
And was that a culmination of a feud, or was that just a week?
Yes.
Because that was on weekly TV, right?
Yes, it was on weekly TV, and they've been feuding for a couple months at least, if not longer. Yeah, I don't know. The other thing is, at the end of the match, they call for the bell, and nobody knows what's going on. Moxley give up for the guy that's getting choked out. What's his name? I can't think of the guy's name. The one that was getting choked out.
Chain. I don't know his name, but where he gets
I can't think of it right now. I went blank. But anyway, he's getting choked out, and they don't even have it on camera where Moxley gives up. They had to come back and tell
somebody
everybody.
got pinned too, but the referee was in the other cage. There was 2 people in that one cage, and the pin was going on, but the referee was over in the other side, and it's like, yeah, I don't know if that's the reaction you wanted, but that's the reaction you got. So,
well, you pretty much covered everything that I kind of thought. I mean, it just the first thing was, if you call it blood and guts, I was expecting a lot more blood and guts, and it's me and Marcus, we're both old school. I mean, we remember those matches with the 4 Horsemen and Dusty and them guys. They were a lot more bloody, a lot more physical, not, a lot of high flying. And I know it's a different day and age, and I understand that, but it's just not for me.
But they didn't use weapons back then either. It was cage scrapes.
For the most part, yes.
They didn't bring weapons in back there, and they had all kinds of weapons that should have caused, you're right, tons of blood. And the guts could have came with that bed of nails once he power slammed him on it, because he would have been like punctured 2-3 inches into him. That, yeah, it was hokey.
Chris, what did you think?
I agree about what you guys are saying. It's one thing to have spots, but there's just, to me, too many spots. And I know that's what AEW is, but I don't watch a whole lot of AEW, and that's one of the reasons I'm more into I like the storytelling. I like for stuff to mean something. But yeah, I thought it was basically chaos, and like Marcus said, Hill Moxley, as soon as the match starts, pulls out a fork, starts stabbing the guy in the head with the fork. No blood. I mean, if I take a fork and hit you like that in the head with it, it should puncture you. I mean,
well, he had a screwdriver too. That would have been.
Yeah, he had a screwdriver.
Yep.
But that was too early in the match. That should have been something after they were all there and it finally started, not like 3rd, 4th man in the.
Yeah.
And what kills me about it is a few years ago, I'm trying to think, probably 2 or 3 years ago, NXT had War Games, and during that men's match, there was some weapons, and people were killing WWE about weapons. Don't need to have the weapons in the cage, all that. Jim Cornette was one of them, I remember. Yeah. But there was a lot of wrestling fans were. But then you can have AEW do something like this, and it's the greatest thing that anybody's ever seen. And it's like, well, it's you want to hate on if another company does it, but if this company does it, it's awesome.
I'll guarantee you Cornette's hating on it.
No, I guarantee Cornette. No, I'm talking about fans, and I'm just talking about wrestling fans in general.
I know.
So I heard so much hate about that, about the War Games match a few years ago on NXT, and then and I'm not saying that match was great, but it was better than what I just watched on this.
That's what makes it tough for WWE to do cage matches in Hell in a Cell when you're not allowed to have blood. They don't do blood, so it's hard. It's hard.
What's going on over there?
They
had Darth Vader in there.
It's been an on-current event for the other shows today too. These two they're back on a roll. I don't know what's going on with the dogs. I don't think they like the AEW either.
They're about to get rehomed. Scrappy.
Okay. Well, we're going to move on from that one. See if they like this topic better. And I like this topic better. I think they're fantastic. MJF and Adam Cole. I think that they've struck gold with MJF and Adam Cole. I also think Well, the other day we was talking to somebody, and they said, I don't think MJF could work in WWE. Look what he's doing right now. He ain't foul-mouthed and going crazy. I think MJF would be perfect in WWE. And I think he's going to make a lot of money here at the first part of 2024, either with AEW or WWE.
No,
I'll let you go first or next.
I liked it. I think them two together are awesome. The comedy stuff they do, just the. I'll be honest with you. It's one of the stupidest damn things in the world, but they keep going for that double clothesline as the finishing move. I loved it because they look at each other, double clothesline, and how many times did it fail before they finally got it there at the end?
Yeah.
And it ain't like it's a flashy, great finishing move either, but for them to keep going for it like that and then end up finishing the match with it, I thought was great. It goes back to telling a story. That match to me wasn't all about just spots. Don't get me wrong, there was some spots, but there was also more of a. Well, it was put together, and there was more of a story to it.
Making fun of the spots because MJF don't do spots normally, and
when they were trying to get him to dive,
trying to get him to do the dive,
I was cracking up.
He finally did the dive, and the fans went crazy, and he comes in about killed him doing the dive.
But the first time when he faked the dive, I was cracking up, and then of course Cole hits the guys, and then gets the crowd chanting dive, and he does it, and I did. I enjoyed it. I liked them two together. It's some of the stuff they've done on other shows before that show together, of them kind of building that up with them two together. I think it's been real good. Best out of the stuff I've seen of AEW, it's the best thing they have going right now.
I tend to agree with that. Marcus, did you get a chance to look at it?
I didn't know that's what you wanted me to watch. That was on there, but I thought, well, this ain't what he wanted me to watch. So,
okay.
But I watched 30 minutes of MJF promos, I guess. I don't even think because in fan interactions and that guy's a gold mine. Even at his signings, one of the ones we watched because they have a thing on YouTube where it was 30 minutes of nothing but MJF, and he's at a signing and he says, "Okay, what's your name?" Well, it's $20. Well, here's $20. Okay, what's your name? Well, my name's Bob. Okay, MJF. Thank you, Dick. Here you go. Now your name's Dick. It's like he signed the paper that way, and that guy's gold. He way he can badmouth people and stay in character. It's a mixture between Mitchell Taylor and Jeremy Hagley, full time, with the shit he says that's way off color and never breaking character. It's like you mix those two guys together because, my goodness.
Well, he got in trouble for throwing a drink. I think he thought it was a Coke, threw it in a kid's face. And it wasn't. It was a mixed drink. He grabbed out of the mom's hand. He got in some trouble for that. And they've got new rules now. They've made some new rules. No more throwing drinks at the crowd. I think stuff like that because they got a little bit of trouble for that. But I think that he's a gold mine. And I think Adam Cole's another gold mine for them too. Best two things they got going, in my opinion. Let's move on. The next thing we had.
I think they're going to end up losing both of them.
Well, I think the thing with 2024 for him, I think Adam Cole's in the contract at like 27, so he signed a long contract. Next up was Dom Mysterio win the NXT Championship, and real fun fact, real quick on that is I watched all three of them, but really didn't realize it till I read it. He main event Monday Night Raw, main event at NXT, and wasn't necessarily I would say the main event of SmackDown, but he was the last wrestling match before they had the Bloodline close the show, the last 10-minute segment. So and defended the NXT title on SmackDown. So a big week for Dom. Chris, what do you think of Dom?
Oh, I love what they're doing with Dom, and I thought I actually watched that whole match. I was able to find the match, watch the match. I thought it was a real good. I thought it was a good match. I liked how the Judgment Day came in at the end, interfered. But Dom is hot. I mean, he don't even have to say nothing. All he has to do is walk out there, and the crowd gets so much heat on him that he can't hardly talk. And but yeah, I love what they got going on. And I think it was a genius idea to have him on the NXT because during that show with him being on, and I'm not saying it's all because of him, but one of the reasons is him. him being on that show, they were trending worldwide #1 on Twitter the whole night.
Yes.
And it's supposed to be your developmental show.
Yes.
No, I thought it was awesome, and I like what they're doing with Dom.
Yeah. What'd you think, Marcus?
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. The only thing I thought, the guy he took the belt off of made the mistake at the end and turned his back on the 3 of them, the 4 of them.
Yep.
There at the end when Priest and Valor came out, and he kicked Priest first, then he turned around and got clobbered by Rhea. That's where he lost it. If he hadn't turned around, they could have probably continued the match a little longer, but it was outstanding.
Yes. Dom's got so much heat right now. Is there anybody who's got more heat than him? Maybe Roman?
I think he's got Roman.
I think he does too.
Because Roman comes out, they don't boo Roman near like they do the minute Dom shows
Dom comes out. It's usually as soon. Well, the last show he couldn't even speak. They finally had to take the mic from and let one of the other ones speak for him because they were not going to let him speak. The boos were so loud. So yeah, I think they're doing an incredible job there.
And Ripley's fantastic as well.
Yeah, if it wasn't for her and Dom turning heel and Rhea being his mama or mommy or whatever, that works. I think if you took a piece of that apart, it'd fall apart.
Yep. I think
I love what she calls him my Latino heat.
Dom. Yeah. And now he's got the name, which Dutch Mantel's pissed off because he used to be called Dirty Dutch Mantel back in the day. Now they're calling him Dirty Dom, and he's pissed off. He's mad.
Get over it.
Yeah, come on, man. But anyway, one real quick thing I had was a match that everybody might want to check out. Is it was on the Ring of Honor pay-per-view, Willow Nightingale for Athena's Ring of Honor Championship. Outstanding women's match. So
have you read this that Kevin's talking about?
Ooh.
That would be interesting.
That could be interesting.
Well, the next thing we had was our independent people that we see all the time, kind of fantasy matchups against more established stars like in WWE and stuff like that, or AEW, or it could be older wrestlers from AWA or WCW or anybody that we wanted to pick. And this comment said.
Scrubby McGee. If you ever get a chance to see that guy, it's rare that he works, but
really,
he's really.
We've seen him before. We've seen him in Kokomo.
Kokomo, yeah, but I've seen him wrestle down when he was bouncing off doors at Jeffersonville. We're all laughing, poor kid, poor guy, guy, but
bouncing off doors.
Yeah, because they saved the hard doors for him. So
I figured maybe they were using rubber doors instead of wood doors.
Remember that?
No, these were solid doors.
Remember that cage match we seen that crazy one in GCW when he's bouncing off the glass and everything else. That crazy match. Okay,
they're lucky that cage didn't fall apart.
Yeah. You want to call it a cage?
Kevin, from something I read earlier today is that Pillman Jr. will be starting training with WWE in August.
Yeah, by the end of the month, August. Yeah, he's moving to Florida, is what I heard.
And that happened within days after we see him at Fair Fight that they announced it.
Well, he went there Thursday, and had a meeting with him Thursday in Orlando. Left without signing. Well, that's what people said because he left. They don't know. But probably was going back home, getting things in order, whatever. And I think it's big for him. I think that structure will be great for him. And hope nothing but big things. I think he's a great talent. I really enjoyed watching him wrestle. Well, who wants to go first on this?
No matter.
I guess you want to go, Chris? You want me to?
Go ahead, Chris. See how many we've got the same. I bet you we got some the same.
Oh, this could be interesting because I actually talk to people to get their people. So
And I haven't seen your list.
Nope.
So
Yep.
Well, my first one I wrote down is IK3 versus MJF. I know that it's happened before. Before MJF was a big star like he is now. But I would love to see them two go at it again, especially if IK3 kind of got his fire back and it was in, because I think IK3 could be a big star like MJF is. I really believe that. So I think that'd be awesome. I had Blake Money Wright versus Adam Cole. Juwan Thomas versus Gunther. Two big guys that could just beat the crap out of each other. Also had Dutch. I guess I'll call him Dutch Man Platinum. Against Seth Rollins. Gonna have Logan Myers versus Kenny Omega. I think that could be interesting.
Yes.
Del Patricks versus John Moxley. Because them two will beat the hell out of each other.
That's one we got the same.
I had an
Dex
additional
Royal
line.
versus Dex Royal versus Roman Reigns.
Hold on a minute. I think we got another one the same. Where's Dex at here? Nope. I didn't have Roman Reigns.
I had the highlight reel versus the Usos.
We have
Right.
that.
Bingo on mine.
Yep. Me too.
Dalton Love versus Sami Zayn. Luke Savage versus Kevin Owens. I think with their two styles, that'd be fun to watch. Brody Bodkins and Hadari versus the Viking Raiders.
I'd like to see that.
I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be all right.
You get them four big guys in there together. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I had Savage Love versus the Young Bucks. Hopefully, Savage Love just tear up the Young Bucks because I'm not a Young Bucks fan. Beaver Boys versus Imperium.
I'm trying to kill them. Oh, the other two, not Gunther.
No, not Gunther. The
other two, yeah.
I couldn't think of both their names.
Yeah, I know.
Is it Vinci and
Ludwig something?
I think that could be real good. Mike King against Chris Jericho. Jericho's always been one of my favorites, and Mike King's one of my favorites. So JKO against Daniel Bryan, or Bryan Danielson, however you want to go with that. Jeremy Hadley against Dominic Mysterio. I think that could be awesome.
Yep. That's another one we got the same.
Also had Jeremy Hadley and The Miz. I think you get them two together would be hilarious. Sage Phillips versus Finn Balor. I think that would be. And I had Carson Drake versus Damian Priest. And then I had have three more in their women's matches. Rachel Armstrong against Becky Lynch. Alice Crowley against Rhea Ripley. And then I had Ari Alexander against Liv Morgan.
I had 1.5. I only matched 1.5.
We matched 3, Chris. I'm gonna go next if it's okay.
Yes.
Of course, I had Del Patrick and John Moxley, which me and him had the same. I had Hillbilly Jed against Crusher Blackwell.
Oh yeah, you went old school.
Yeah, I did some old school ones. IK3, and the reason I picked this opponent is because I know he loves Japanese wrestling. I picked Tanahashi.
Kelly's asking everybody a question.
Oh, she's asking everybody.
Well, because we're supposed to have a big turnout tonight, so she knows.
I love both of them, so I can't pick. I would just, if I had to pick, I would just have to shoot both of you, and so I wouldn't have to pick. Okay,
And that'd be a good one too, Kelly. Kelly fired against Mike King.
Okay, yeah, might be in trouble.
Hey, we might be able to rage after this this weekend.
She'll take that Kane and make him a Mike King pop. Okay, next up, I had Brody Bodkins against Bam Bam Bigelow. I had Congo Kong against Bruiser Brody. And this is going to be real old school. Zay Gates and most people's not going to know who this is. I know David will, and I know Marcus will. One of my favorites, Prince Pullins.
Yeah.
I had Zay Gates against Prince Pullins. Blake Money Ride against Roddy Piper. Jeremy Hadley against Dom Mysterio, because I know he's a big Dom Mysterio fan. That's why I did it. Highlight Reel against the Usos, another one you had. I had Savage Love against the Hardy Boys. I had the Dirty Birds against the Smoking Guns. You probably remember the Smoking Guns. I think that'd been interesting. Both of them kind of the cowboy gimmick a little bit. Prestigious Worldwide against the New Age Outlaws. I had.
Well, wait a minute. I think you matched one for me.
Uh-oh.
No, you did not. No, you did not. No,
Okay, next I had Jake Oman versus Mr. Perfect. Logan Myers versus Sami Zayn. Dutch Bleak Platinum against Seth Rollins. Dex Royal against Finn Balor. Christian Cash against Kofi Kingston. Rachel Armstrong against, I don't even remember her other name, Sasha Banks. Alice Crowley versus Bayley. JB versus Xavier Woods. Mike King versus Jerry Lawler. JKO versus Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer. Jackson Morgan versus Cactus Jack. Hidari versus Kamala. And my last one is Damian DeVille versus Ken Shamrock.
Ooh, you really old schooled it. You didn't match any of mine except the ones we already matched.
Okay.
You two don't freaking stop.
Okay, Marcus, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
All right, everybody. No particular order. It sounds like we all need to have our matches down at the arena, because that's where they run 20, 30 match shows. So if you want to see this stuff, you got to go to the arena, because that's where they book this stuff. So anyhow, all right. I had MJF versus BMW, because I think Blake and MJF, they're good.
Yes.
Okay. Justin Danger versus Finn Balor. I had Gunther taking on Shane Mercer. I had Carson Drake taking on Sheamus. What's Brian? Is it Brian Danielson now?
Yes.
He went back to his normal name. Okay, taking on Damian DeVille. I had Cody Rhodes and Dex Royal.
That'd be good. I forgot about Cody.
I talked to Chris Chaos.
Shh.
Sorry you didn't like that, but that's the way it is. Chris Chaos, and they kind of do. Chris Chaos versus Kevin Owens. And then we had the Usos versus the highlight reel. I had Jack Vaughn taking on Seth Rollins. Okay, you don't like that either. Okay, here's what I did with my Dale Patricks. I had him taking on John Moxley, but I also put Cole Radrick in there in a triple threat elimination hardcore street fight. We just threw all the names in there together too. And I did elimination because I don't like first pin, I like last. That's what I really enjoyed about the tag team on Saturday.
Yes.
It was the last pin, and everybody had to be pinned except the person who won it, and that was the way to play the match together.
Yep, I agree.
I hate champions losing their titles when they're not the ones being beat, so that was fantastic. Where am I at? Jake Oman versus Drew McIntyre. Ricky Guns taking on Sami Zayn. Now here's my Brody Botkins. I had Brody Botkins and Jake Elliott taking on Otis and Chad Gable. Kind of like similar, because you got the big and the small and the big and the small. So I had Justin Myers taking on IK Bro. I think those styles are a lot alike. I had Hidari and Braun Strowman for my big guys. Prestigious Worldwide taking on the New Day. Then I'll do my three ladies matches, and then I'll do my very funny gimmick match.
Okay.
My women were Aria Alexander taking on Charlotte Flair, and I have a feeling that'll happen one day. Rachel Armstrong versus Bianca Belair, and I had Alice Crawley against Becky Lynch.
All three of them would be great.
And then I hope Mike King's watching, because my Mike King slammed Mike King around I had my King and his Hall of Fame award taking on Perry Saturn and Moppy.
I had a match, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I'm afraid it might cause trouble, but what the hell? I've still got the butt cream. I originally had the Bulletproof Posse against Public Enemy. I think that would have been awesome. You remember Public Enemy?
Oh yeah, and I think because Kelly asked me Friday night, if you notice, Itch and TJ, their back of their coats say RIPPE.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Public Enemy. One has Grunge's numbers and the other has Rocco's numbers on it. So,
Yep.
But yeah, and I met those guys, all 4 of them actually. But
Well, I had a thing made up here in case we had some time. We got a little bit of time. We'll go ahead and do this. Now I went with this is who was better overall. This is in-ring talent, personality, anything, all the intangibles that go with it. And those are some interesting matchups. First one I had was who would you take overall, Rick Rude or Batista?
and this is for everybody. You can all chime in.
Yes.
People in the chat.
This is their overall talent, not just in ring, everything that they bring to the table.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Rude.
I'd take Rude too.
I would take Rude as well.
Rude would beat the daylights out of Batista. Seriously, I really think if he would shoot fight, I think Rude could beat the hell out of Batista. So,
Yeah, people on here are saying Rude. A couple of them are. Next one. This is the complete opposite of each other, these two guys. Bob Backlund, Jeff Hardy.
we talking Bob Backlund of the 70s or Bob Backlund of the chicken wing, I'm the president?
I would say Bob Backlund when he held the title.
Against who? Jeff?
Jeff Hardy.
No, I'll go Backlund.
Popularity.
Well-
Hardy's got a lot of popularity.
But see, Backlund wasn't a high flyer, and Jeff, that's all he. Man, it all depends on how the stipulation works. Because Bob Backlund never was a high flyer. Jeff Hardy, that's what he made his living doing.
I'm gonna go with Bob.
See, these guys on here are going with Hardy.
Really, I'm going with Backlund. All
I
depends
think
on
I'd go with
the stipulation. If you're going
Well-
scientific, Backlund's got him. But if you're
Well,
going the other way, then
I'm not really talking about match against each other necessarily. I'm talking more what they brought to the table. I'm talking about their in-ring ability, whether they was a great heel or a great face, personality, maybe even
Bob Backlund didn't have a personality. So,
no, he didn't have a lot of personality.
well, if you're going that route, I guess I'd go Jeff Hardy.
Okay. Next up, Kane, the Big Show.
Kane.
Kane.
I think Kane too. This is going to be a tough one. Jake the Snake Roberts, Junkyard Dog.
Well, and they actually did work together in the South.
Perfect baby face, perfect heel.
I'm gonna go with Jake.
I will go with JYD because I think Jake would have got killed. And I think actually those two wrestled and there was that. I really think the fans about took out Jake, didn't they? Is that right? Am I remembering that? Now, like Mid-South,
That'd be right.
Deep South, or. Yeah, I think because Jake was so over.
Getting a lot of Jake.
I'll go Jake, or not Jake. Dog. I'm going to go with JYD.
We're about split. We're getting a lot of.
Now, if you're talking WWE, Jake and Dog, I'll go with Jake. If you're talking Deep South, I'm going to go with Dog.
That's what I'm saying. Overall, it's really
That's where
tough.
they're at. Yeah.
Next up, Kurt Angle, Mick Foley.
Mm.
Popularity-wise, very similar.
Well,
Both of them are pretty good heels.
I think Angle.
Both of them did a lot for the business.
I think Kurt could talk better. I know Mick could talk.
Oh man,
But
I was fans of both of them. Real big fans of both of them.
You got to
but-
remember, Mick Foley did a lot of good stuff with The Rock, and the
I
Rock
know.
is up.
Now you're making a mistake. You need to eat.
Yeah, it's very tough.
I was both of them are two of my favorites.
Everybody on here saying Foley.
I'm gonna go with Kurt, and basically just because of I followed Kurt before he was ever in.
Yes.
I followed Kurt in amateur wrestling before he was ever in pro wrestling. So
my favorite's Mick. Kurt was all right. I was never a fan of Kurt. But I was a Mick. So, but I'll stay with Kurt. That's what I said.
Superfly, Jimmy Snuka, and the Iron Sheik.
Snuka.
I don't know, man. The heel that Iron Sheik was.
But if you look at some of that, so was Snuka at one time.
Yeah, he was in the late 70s, early 80s. He was a real good heel.
And he was in ECW too, because he did have a stint with ECW.
Yes. People, what do you think about Snuka and Iron Sheik, people?
Snuka is what is everybody's saying so far.
See, I'd go with Sheik. I think he was such a great heel, and I don't know if Hogan. I think he was very important for Hogan. And even after
that, yeah,
he was very important. I mean, he got the other tag teams over. He went on what he did with Sergeant Slaughter to help get Slaughter over too as a bad guy. I mean, Slaughter was a bad guy at one point before that, but he was next level bad guy when he became the Iraqi sympathizer. People are going with Snuka. Okay, next up, Pat Patterson or Freddie Blassie.
See, I knew you'd do that. I knew you'd pick those two.
Just because I don't. I would go with Patterson just because I know more about him. But yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with you, Marcus.
Blassie is more deep heel. Blassie was a heel, or see now you got me tongue tied. Blassie was more deep heel than Patterson was heel, but Blassie was heel. It's like
everybody's saying Blassie.
Yep. Okay, next up, this is going to be a tough one. Great Muta or Sting?
Oh, those guys actually worked.
Yeah.
I'll have to go Sting. Yeah, I'll go Sting.
Because I've seen more Sting. I think I'd go with Sting. I know Muta was a huge star, and he was a huge star here too, but he's a huge star in Japan also.
I'm going to go Sting.
We got a couple of Mutas on here. Sting. Okay, next up, Harley Race and Bruno Sammartino. They were both so important to both of the. Harley Race was so important in NWA. Bruno Sammartino was so important to the WWF.
All right, here's the reason I make my decision. I'm going Harley because his area of defending was much broader.
Yes.
When Bruno was champion, it was just the East Coast. Harley was most of the country, so I'll go Harley.
I think I'm gonna go with that argument too.
That's why everybody on here is saying Harley.
Booker T and Jeff Jarrett.
No, Booker T. I've never been a Jeff Jarrett fan. Well, I won't say that. There's a section of Jeff Jarrett's career I did not care for, but I'll still go Booker T.
I think Booker T also.
Yeah, Booker T. Rampage says Booker. Kelly says Booker.
Okay, Lou Thesz and Vern Gagne.
If you want overall, Lou Thesz was it. That guy was the most scientific guy I think I've ever seen. And I've always seen video, obviously. But he knew he was so scientific move for move, and he could get out of just about anything.
Well, we got a Thesz on here and a Vern. I seen a lot more of Vern, but Vern was very scientific too. I think I'd go with Lou Thesz too. Chris don't probably know who these one of them are.
I don't know who they are.
But, I mean,
I haven't seen a whole lot of them, but I would go with Thesz.
Pedro Morales and Jack Briscoe.
See, now you're again. Jack was more. Pedro, well, No, again, it was territorial. Pedro was only East Coast. Jack was worldwide because Pedro was WWF. Jack was NWA. I had to go Jack because he had a bigger audience to play to.
Rampage went Briscoe.
He was in tag a lot, Briscoes were, but he was also a pretty popular individual star too. Was he more popular as a tag team or individual, you think?
See, I couldn't answer that. I've always remember seeing him in tag. I don't remember actually seeing him as a champion.
Yeah,
but I'm only going by.
Yeah, I didn't get to see Pedro's heyday when he was champion. I got to see him when he was about done. All the matches I've seen for the most part. I think I'd have to go Briscoe too. Paul Orndorff or Diamond Dallas Page.
Orndorff was so established before Diamond even started. And yeah, I'll have to go Orndorff.
I think Orndorff also.
I'd say Orndorff.
Marcus, this is going to be a tough one for you. Well, maybe not. Dick the Bruiser or the Crusher?
No, it's going to be Bruiser. If you ask Rob Pugh, he'll say Crusher. It just depends on who we grew up on.
Well, the reason I bring this up, and I'm going to bring this list out, I got to looking, and there's a list of the 1,000 greatest wrestlers of all time. And Bruiser might be on the list, but Crusher was way ahead of. Well, I stopped at about 150. I didn't go all the way through it. The Crusher was like 111 or something, or 135. Bruiser, he was way before Bruiser, and that surprised me. Of course, I grew up in Indianapolis, and I seen Bruiser so much. Seen Crusher too, but I grew up on Bruiser. So,
I always seen Crusher as a tag team.
Yeah, pretty much.
I know so like I said, that's the same reason. I grew up in the area with Bruiser. Rob Pugh grew up in Wisconsin with Crusher, so we can argue back and forth, but it's just who we grew up with. So,
yeah.
If you get the Michigan guys, they'll say the Sheik, so because that's who they grew up with. So,
yeah.
Rampage said Bruiser, Kelly Bruiser, Billy Bruiser.
Okay, my last one is Bobo Brazil and Tony Atlas.
Bobo, because Tony would even admit that there was times that he couldn't handle what he was doing.
Yeah,
and I will go with Bobo.
I think so
I'm a Tony Atlas fan, but
yeah. Well, Atlas said he got it way too quick. He said he became popular way before he was ready to handle it. I've seen interviews with that.
Looks like David said Dick the Bruiser, and everybody so far, Rampage, David, and Kelly all said Bobo.
Okay, guys, that's all I've got for tonight. For next week, I've got this down. Unless you guys have something else you'd like to do, I've got. Of course, we'll talk our independent stuff. We'll talk our pro wrestling talk, and then we'll have who invented famous wrestling moves. I've got a list here if you guys want to do some research. And then also I've got a thing that I looked up. I checked out a list. And this was on baby faces, but it was 4 different lists, and they're all different. And I made brackets for them, and we're going to go through these brackets. It's baby face brackets from like 4 different sources, and we'll go through them and see. I think it'll be interesting to see who we come up with, who we think who the winners of these brackets would be. We'll do the baby face brackets also next week.
No, that could be interesting research.
Yeah, and you might find some different moves. I've got a list of probably 25, 30 moves. Some were interesting. Some of them were, that people invented the move that I definitely didn't think would have invented the move. And I'll give everybody one. And I already told Marcus this, that I think will shock a lot of people. The tombstone pile driver. Who do you think invented the tombstone pile driver? Let's see if anybody's got a guess.
And it wasn't Taker.
It was not Undertaker.
I will throw that out there. And I don't even remember who he told me, but I know it wasn't Taker. So.
Everybody gonna guess?
Come on, Rampage. Who do you guess?
Come on, David.
Chris, who's got it?
I don't think anybody's gonna guess.
They're all Googling it.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it out. It was Andre the Giant.
And I can't even see Andre doing a pile driver. That's what's funny.
I think when I even did it, I think it even shows a picture of him doing it. If I remember right.
Had to be his early days because
It was in the 70s.
Man, that'd be a heck of a pile driver.
Yeah.
I want to see if it's on YouTube. I'd like to see him do that.
And the other thing, I don't know if you guys seen this. Dutch Platinum named a move. I don't know if you guys seen that.
I think that's fantastic what he did there.
Yes, that move they did there at the end, the spinning slam or whatever what you call it. It's called the cease and desist. Perfect name. So we need to remember that on commentary.
Got to also remember to keep that middle name out of there.
Yep. I said Dutch Bleep Platinum. I think they should change. He should change it to Dutch Man Platinum, and instead of being the Beaver Boys, they should be the Beaver Man.
That was a heck of.
Well, we was trying to tell? Was it Dave on commentary?
Yeah.
Dave thought we was kidding. I said,
Yeah,
no.
he wasn't getting what we were.
I said, Dave, he got a cease and desist. He can't use that anymore.
I had a.
And then he finally
Bruce,
got it. Yeah.
I said, Bruce, you can't call him that. And Bruce started laughing. I said, no. And I said in the face, he got a cease and desist. You can't call him that. It's like made all the shirts collector's items now.
Yep.
And then during the tag team match, you said at the end, you said Hadley was going to be proud of his son.
Yeah.
and David thought you were talking about Damien.
Yeah.
And he goes, no, Damien wouldn't pull a stunt like that or something. And we're like, no.
I'm talking about Hadley because Hadley has been saying he's his father, father and son. That's where I was going with it. Of course, Dave was not in the same match.
I love what you guys were saying when those guys got the rolling around on the floor, too. When they won and they were like rolling. Like, I can't remember what you said, but I was in here laughing.
Well, Glenn accused me of trying to be Bobby Heenan when Blake came out. And, of course, David responded first. And I said, yeah, but why is he here? Well, the famous thing was with Heenan, where Heenan says, well, which side is he on? Whose side is he on? Which I didn't say that. I just said, why is he here? But Glenn called me out. Well, guys, I think things went pretty well tonight. Hopefully, we'll have a good show next week. Oh, everybody, don't forget we got that big interview coming up this Wednesday. I think Chris will be putting out okay if I announce that. Wednesday at 6:30, we'll be having the ladies' man Mike King, and
they don't like that.
You guys don't like Mike King? You guys with Kelly? You don't like Mike King? He'll be on there and be here to promote the big show they got coming up. I believe it's next Wednesday night, August 2nd, at Gaston, Indiana, at the Gaston Fair. It'll be trying to remember what they called it now. Don't remember the name, but anyway, it's going to feature Al Snow and all the DCCW stars. Also, the Fanny Pack Kid, the New Rockers. That's the tag team, and they'll be going after the DCCW Tag Team Championships against the Beaver Boys. I'm assuming that'll be the main event. I guess they don't like.
They don't like any of that.
Nope.
Oh man. But yeah, so join us Wednesday night for that. That should be a great time with Mike King, and then next Wednesday we'll don't know if we'll be live yet or not. Depends on the internet when we get to the fair.
Yep.
Try to find out more information about that. Anything else?
I think I'm good to go.
All right. We appreciate everybody joining us tonight. Please hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Like and follow Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, all at Gonzo'S Sports Room as well. This has been G.W.R. Gonzo'S Wrestling Room. We'll be back next Monday at 6:30 with another episode. Hope everybody has a great night.
That'd be absolutely devastating.
This is Joey Owens' show. They've been trying to get me on this broadcast forever, and this is the worst damn broadcast I've ever been on. So you all can kiss my ass while I win this match.